Guys, what's going on? I'm Jess. If you don't already know, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, like my past 2 videos, hit that bell button, and comment when you're done, and be the first to like, comment my videos when I post. I've already gone in and primed foundation my face. Now I'm going to be doing my contour with the 8H palette from Morphe. I actually found out I was pregnant when I was about a month in. Me and my family, we went shopping, and my mom, she was like, I have a feeling that you're pregnant. I was like, I'm not pregnant, like I just passed my menstrual, right? She was like, I don't know, like I just have a feeling, can you take a pregnancy test and I will feel better? And I was like, okay. My boyfriend and sister were both in the living room while I was taking the test. When it came out positive, I started crying. Like I had the biggest breakdown. I mean, I'm a 17-year-old pregnant. My sister came in the restroom and she's like, no, like is it really positive? So she ran to the store and she grabbed another pregnancy test, and sure enough, it came out positive also. I was so in shock, and my boyfriend was being so supportive. He's like, oh, we'll figure it out, like we can do this and stuff. I called my mom and I told her, Mom, it's positive, and she hung up on me. She clicked on me. And I was miserable all day, crying. And when my mom came home, she hugged me and she's like, Jessica, I'm with you in whatever decision you make. Days had passed by already and I didn't want to go to school. I was super ashamed of being pregnant. And keep in mind, before I was pregnant, I had like the worst anxiety. So I would miss school because I would get really sick, like I couldn't breathe. I would feel pressure in my chest. I would feel anxious. I had the worst asthma attacks from my anxiety. But I'm so happy and so proud that I had the biggest, most greatest support system. I just want to say that this is from my own perspective, my own opinion on how I felt while I was pregnant at school. I felt like a lot of people around me were getting pregnant before I found out I was pregnant. But you never think at one point, like you never think that it would be you. Of all people, I never thought that I would ever have a child at a young age. But I can say that I lost a lot of friends. There was times where I would be sitting alone in class and just feeling like I had no one there for me anymore. After I think like 2 months of missing school, my counselor, she was like very supportive and she was so nice to me. She told me about this group on campus. One of our PE teachers, she held this pregnancy class, I guess, like pregnancy group of like girls that have had abortions or are pregnant, and she just told me if I wanted to join and just hear other people's perspectives and like hear other people's stories about being pregnant and how they came out, and then it can help me. So I ended up joining the class, and I met a lot of girls who had it way harder than I had it, right? Who didn't have any support system, whose parents kicked them out, or whose parents just weren't there for them and didn't support their decision in keeping their baby. When I walked around school, I never thought that girl had a baby or that girl was pregnant. So it was crazy to see people that I've seen on, like around campus were actually pregnant already. The PE teacher, she taught us how to cope with like this new change in our lives, and different resources to help us along the way, and like for low-income families and stuff. And like, guys, if you're gonna be having sex, like please just stay safe. There's so many things out there and different types of birth control that I feel like I wasn't aware of at the time. Like not a lot of people told me about the different types of birth control and stuff. So one thing I went through in my pregnancy was, I think when I was about 5 months pregnant, I started getting itchy all over my body, and my mom thought maybe it was something that I ate that like the baby was allergic to. So I ended up going to the doctor the next day, and it turns out I had this thing called cholestasis. I think that's what it's called. It's to do with like your liver stats. But everything on my body was itchy, like everywhere. I was itchy everywhere, but I had no rash or anything. So that's why I was like, you know what, something's wrong. Maybe something's wrong with the baby. And there was a few times where like I didn't feel her moving, but I think it was just because my baby was like attached to the placenta. So basically, if you go over 35 weeks pregnant, you're most likely to have a stillbirth. So because of that condition, every week I had to follow up in the doctor. They gave me medicine for that itchy condition, and it actually worked. But a month later, I ended up having a pain in the back of my thigh, like on my leg, and I kind of ignored it, and it got worse. And one time I was at Kmart and I had to use the restroom, so I went in the restroom, and when I sat down, I had like the worst pain from my leg and from the back of my leg. I could not walk because I was in so much pain. I grabbed onto one of the shelves that were there at Kmart, and I kind of like tried to calm my leg down, and I was like, oh my god, what's happening? And keep in mind, I was 6 months, but at 6 months I was huge. Like, I was already big and pregnant, but like I woke up one day and I was just super big. No one helped me. The workers passed by me and I started to cry, and no one even asked if I was okay. There's a big pregnant girl trying to hold on to not fall from pain, and no one stopped by to help me. No one came by and said like, hey, are you alright, or do you need help or anything? I would think if I seen someone in pain or something, like I would go and help them. I would definitely ask them if they're okay, and like, you know, get them that freaking chair that like you can drive around the store. Nobody helped me. No one did anything. So anyways, aside from that, I ended up reaching for my phone, and I called my boyfriend, and he's like, I'm nowhere near, like I can't get you, I don't have no transportation. But I think he like ended up borrowing a bike, and he came to try and rescue me. And I also called my mom and my sisters, and they drove to come get me. And the next day my dad took me to the hospital, and it turns out it was my sciatic nerve. They said all I have to do is take like this painkiller, that I just had to elevate my leg every day. The pain got so much worse that my boyfriend had to bird bath me. I couldn't pick up my leg to go inside the shower anymore. There's so many things that a pregnant girl can go through that you don't even know exist. In time, I just got better. I was even in a wheelchair for a bit. I had to be in a wheelchair and pushed around. In that time period of going through that condition, cholestasis, and then going through the condition of the sciatic nerve problem, I was not in school for all those months. And I was supposed to be in school all those months, but I couldn't walk. I was in so much pain. I was in crutches for a little bit while I was pregnant, and it was so hard to lift up my weight. I was in a wheelchair, and I felt like so many people thought I just didn't want to go to school, like I didn't want to do anything, but that was not the case. I ended up going to a doctor's appointment with my boyfriend early in the morning to check my dilation, and I was about, I want to say I was like 7.5 months pregnant when they checked my dilation. If you have cholestasis, you have to get induced. So when you have that condition, you will never get the experience of your water breaking. So when I went to the doctor's appointment, the doctor, he checked my dilation, and he was like, oh, you're gonna come on Saturday to the hospital to get induced, which means that that day I would have the baby, or the day after. And then he checked me again. He's like, wait, no, you go now, and I was like, oh hell no, oh no. I was like, I cannot do this right now. And the nurse was like smiling in the back, and she's like, you're gonna have a baby today or tomorrow. And I was like, oh my god. I was in labor for like a whole day. The inducing medication was not working, and another complication happened while I was in labor. I think they changed my inducing medication or something, or they increased the dosage, and I started dilating a little more, but I wasn't at the right dilation. I think it was like 7 centimeters or something. And I had this one nurse who ended up doing me an ultrasound to see where the baby was, and my daughter's umbilical cord, she was holding her umbilical cord, and she was gonna like wrap the umbilical cord around her head. She ended up whispering or something to another nurse, and then the doctor ended up coming in, checked my ultrasound, and he was like, I need to do a C-section right away. I need to do a C-section. And the nurse was like, no, she's so young. She's only 17. Give me 1 hour and I will help her move the baby and dilate. I will help her. I had already taken the epidural because I was in so much pain. I was grabbing onto the rails of the hospital bed. My mom had all of us natural. So I wanted to try to see if I can have my daughter natural. But I couldn't breathe anymore. Like, I was starting to get like an asthma attack, and I had the oxygen mask and I couldn't breathe, and my mom was like, you know what, if you have to take the epidural, like, just take it. So I ended up taking the epidural, And one bad experience that I had when I got the epidural was not even because of the epidural. The anesthesia that I got was just so rude, and I had when you get induced, they put you, I forgot what it's called. It's a tube to like drain out all of your urine. I couldn't control my urine, and she was just so rude, and she was like, I am not gonna touch her. She was Asian, and she was like, I'm not gonna touch her. There's pee, I'm not gonna touch her. And the nurse was like, she's like, it's okay, love. And she was like tapping my back and like trying to soothe me because I was in labor, I was in pain. And she was like, let me change her. So she ended up changing like my bed. She changed everything for me. And she was like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, oh, like I kept saying it's okay. And like I really wanted to argue, but I had so many cramps at that point, so many labor pains. That was just one coming after another, and I couldn't even argue. I couldn't even say anything back to that anesthesiologist. But if I could have told her something, I would have told her, like, dude, do you not see that I'm in pain? Do you have any kids? Have you ever felt this labor pain? Because I couldn't even freaking get myself up out of bed because I was in so much pain. Like, it hurts like when you have like leg cramps and you get one after another, and it's just harder and harder and harder. And I couldn't take the pain anymore. So the anesthesiologist came back in and she gave me the epidural. And I know some people have said that they felt pain during the epidural or like a sting, and I didn't feel anything. But then again, everybody's different. That I didn't feel anything when I got the epidural done, or maybe I didn't feel anything because I was in so much pain and my mind was just concentrated on the labor pain and nothing else. Once I got the epidural, that was when the nurse did the ultrasound and seeing that my daughter and seeing that my baby had her umbilical cord going around her head. So she ended up putting my legs on top of the table. Okay, all the doctors were there ready, just in case there was like a complication and my daughter couldn't breathe or something. But guys, she was so healthy, and she weighed 6 pounds and 2 ounces. The doctors were like super amazed. Like a baby at 35 weeks should have had some type of breathing problems or something, but she was healthy. It was so cool. My boyfriend's cousin had just had her baby the day before, the 21st, and I had mine the 22nd. And somehow she knew, I think she's seen my boyfriend go into the room, but somehow she knew that I was next to her in the delivery. My boyfriend's cousin ended up coming inside, and I ended up seeing her, and it was cool because our babies they kind of like grow up together because they're like a day apart. But anyways, guys, like that was the crazy time of my labor and delivery. I give props to all of the moms out there and my mom who had babies natural, because it really is painful. It hurts, like it hurts, and I can't even describe the pain. I'm telling you, it's like, if you're a girl, you know how cramps feel like, and it's just those menstrual cramps are the ones that come like faster and faster and harder, and every time they come, they're just like 2 times as harder as the ones before. And if you're a guy, I would say that the pain of being in labor is when you have like leg cramps, when you're like playing soccer or any sport and you get like a leg cramp. Yeah, that's how much it hurts. Okay, another question that like I was frequently asked was like, how did I deal with everything? I just felt like I had like the best support system in my life. My mother was like always there for me. That is my pregnancy. This is my baby. Hi, baby. Baby. You're my baby. And guys, today is Halloween, and guess what we're gonna be? We're gonna be bunnies! Bunnies! Yeah! You're gonna be a white bunny. You're gonna be a white bunny. White bunny? Yeah, a white bunny with a pink tutu. A pink tutu? She's gonna wear a pink tutu today, and mommy's gonna be a black bunny. Huh. But we're gonna be bunnies today for Halloween, guys. So stay tuned for the pictures. And now, what you guys have all been waiting for, my giveaway. Drum roll, please. Now, these are all the items to be excited for. We have our Motor Studio Beauty Creations lashes, Babea Cosmetics lashes. These lashes are from HQ Lashes. We have our Mellow Brow Gel, our Tarte Park Avenue Contour Palette, and then we have our Dose Up Colors palette, our Iconic London palette. Our next is deep conditioning for your hair, and then we have our eyeliner and our Beauty Creations brushes. These are all the items that you will be getting in my giveaway, so make sure to check the link down at the description so you guys can enter my giveaway. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my labor and delivery and all of the different things that I had to go through in my pregnancy. Don't forget to check the description down below to enter my giveaway. Guys, you must be following me on Instagram and subscribe to my channel, but don't forget to hit that bell button.